Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Cabral.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. It's great to have you here today. Excited to get into another Cabral HouseCall where we are going to be answering your questions just like we do each and every weekend. So today we are going to tackle 6 questions. These 6 questions have come in since about February 21st. And yes, I know we are well into April. Today's actually May 1st. So it is May 1st. But, you know, in all seriousness, we answer our community's questions. We answer every single one of them in the order they come in. So we are now about 10 weeks behind, and that is because which is not a bad thing. Again, I know that you want your questions answered sooner, but you can always get them answered basically same day as to where to find most of the answers just by going to, searching at stevencabral.com/podcasts. And then also joining the free Facebook group. That's cabralsupportgroup.com. Even if you don't use Facebook, for anything else, that's totally fine. That's what I do. I don't ever post in Facebook unless it's for our community. And you can get your questions answered there as well. So if I'm answering them, I'm happy to do that. I'm also excited to say the podcast has grown tremendously in 2022, all thanks to you, of course. So I appreciate your reviews and as well as your support by sharing it with other people. But we are now at 3 million plus downloads a month. And again, super grateful for all the support from the community. Just plugging along, answering questions, trying to add some perspective as to see how I see the wellness, the body transformation, the anti-aging based community, and just sharing the unbiased perspective of working in clinical practice and just running hundreds of thousands of labs and saying, hey, this is actually what's going on with people's bodies when they do this exercise, this diet, these supplements, this stress on the body, like whatever it might be, and just trying to share that with you. So once again, thank you so much, and let's get now into your questions. All right, the first question is from Kayla. Kayla says, hi, I'm working with an integrative practitioner right now. I have a sharp pain in my lower left stomach, which she said it was a swollen lymph node. My candida antibodies came back extremely high, so I'm currently taking antifungal herbs, as well as a probiotic, and my pain and symptoms seem to be getting worse. Do you think there is an underlying problems contributing to this pain? Or do you think there is such a sharp pain in the lower left abdomen? Thank you so much. Okay, let me try to get to your question. So there's all sorts of different health practitioners. If it's an integrative health practitioner, they're not diagnosing you with anything, so it's not an integrative health practitioner, but it could be an integrative practitioner, meaning they use multiple modalities. And most likely it's in person, I'm assuming, because they're saying that it's a swollen lymph node. Well, the lymph nodes are typically what's called the inguinal cleft. So it's like the V shape down towards the groin. That's where a lot of those are. And sometimes they're swollen because of gut-based issues, or not for women, but for men, prostate issues. And so there's all sorts of different reasons why you could have swollen lymph nodes, or there could be an infection in the lower legs. I mean, there's all sorts of different reasons. The only person to give you a diagnosis of that would be a medical doctor. And then things seem to be getting worse when you're doing an antifungal and a probiotic. Well, it could be gut related. I mean, it certainly could be. The thing is, it's not possible for me to tell you what it is, even though I want to, really be able to share with you what it is. I wouldn't know unless we run labs, right? So unless we run the big 5 labs, I don't know what's going on. Or even if you just want to do one gut test, you could do the bacteria and parasite stool test. You could certainly run that. All labs are at stevencabral.com/labs. And you don't even have to work with us. If you choose not to, that's okay. But you can at least see what the labs are, so you know what to run with your integrative health practitioner. And what's going on the left side? Well, the left side is, when you look at it, I mean, you could have referred pain, I guess, from your pancreas, but you've got your spleen over on the left. Then you definitely have lymph nodes lower in that area. But on your left side, you also have your descending colon. So, there's all sorts of different reasons why there might be pain there. And that's why it's not possible for me to actually say what it is. And of course, I just have to give my disclaimer on the podcast. I'm never giving medical diagnostics. I'm not giving medical advice or medical treatment-based plans. So, Kayla, we need to go deeper. We're either running some labs or you're going to a medical doctor to get an actual diagnosis. That's probably my recommendation. All right. Jenny's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm a long-time dedicated podcast listener, and I'm so appreciative of the information and insights you share. Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate that. I'm excited to now be an Ayubowan member, and I look forward to receiving ongoing lab tests and coaching calls along with it. Well, that's fantastic to hear. Ayubowan, for those people that don't know, who they will know in like another day or so, we've got a brand new app launching soon, which is only one part of Ayubowan, but it's completely free for Ayubowan members. And Ayubowan is essentially free for people in the Equilife community. So this is just us trying to take the entire industry to that next level. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I don't want to go through it right now because I want to make this about you and make this about the show. But you can check it out at stevencabral.com/Ayubowan. And Ayubowan is AYUBOWAN, Ayubowan. Or just head on over to stevencabral.com/shop and then click on the thing at the top that says members, and you can check that out. All right. So let's see, though, what Jenny says. I follow the foundational protocol level 2 and take your immune support protocols. My question has to do with the new longevity line that I'm excited to try. Because some of them include some of the supplements I'm already taking, how can I determine whether I should continue with my supplements in addition to longevity products? I've been reluctant to order ones I'm most interested in trying because I'm unsure. Much thanks to you and your amazing team. Thank you, Jenny. Okay, so excuse me. Since I formulated the longevity line, I took that into account while formulating them. So I assume that most people in our community are going to be using the daily nutritional support at a minimum, ideally omega-3s, and ideally daily fruit and vegetable blend, daily probiotic, right? Something like that. Okay, that's daily foundation protocol level 2. Then the immunity protocol. I expect that most people, at least during the winter time, they're going to use vitamin C, alkalizing vitamin C, balanced zinc, and they're going to use vitamin D. Okay. So knowing that, I did not put all of those extras in those products. So for someone like me, I use exactly what I just shared with you. But then I also use Cell Boost and a few of the other longevity-based ones. So you can kind of see them right. Well, I can't really see them too well on the camera right over there if you're watching this on video. So they're totally fine to use. Meaning, like, we have most people adding on, like a lot of people adding on the advanced renewal system. I mean, talk about clinical science, anti-aging based nutrients. I mean, people are giving amazing testimonials and success stories, which we love to hear, but we also expect, these things are literally formulated based on the latest science using those nutrients that we've known to work for thousands of years in Ayurvedic-based medicine. So, yeah, I'm excited about that. And so whether you're using estrogen support, progesterone support, daily testosterone support, bone support, vision support, brain support, all of those can be used. And they're really, really okay. Of course, again, I don't know you. I haven't seen your labs, but you can always ask your health practitioner. And I would, during your next free coaching call with Ayubowan, you can ask. And if anybody does not know of our new longevity line, I can't recommend checking it out enough. And that's at stevencabral.com/longevity. All right, Hans is up next. How to rid the body of fatty liver. All right, that's the question. So Hans, happy to help with this. So let's go over just fatty liver. Fatty liver, I believe the statistics, again, I don't do research while I'm doing the house calls, but it's about 10 to 15% greater amount of fat buildup on the liver, ends up being then diagnosed with fatty liver. There's fatty liver, and fatty liver is honestly, it's usually from people over consuming alcohol or fructose, higher levels of, it can be from inflammatory polyunsaturated fats as well, but a lot of people from too much processed sugar in their body, in their diet, high fructose corn syrup, etc. So those are definitely the big reasons for fatty liver. There's non-alcohol fatty liver. So that there's certainly that. It's not as common, but it's possible. Then you want to look at the overall, again, diet, exercise, inflammatory components. Most people are able to overcome it, luckily, with good nutrition, exercise. I mean, we do functional medicine detoxes, et cetera, but again, no medical-based advice. And, again, I don't want to make light of it at all. I mean, if you have fatty liver, I would absolutely get rid of fatty liver, because along with it comes oftentimes fatigue and low energy. But then there's also people typically have maybe type 2 diabetes, they have high blood pressure, they have high cholesterol. So there's a lot that goes with it. So here's the thing. As you get your body healthier and healthier, you end up overcoming a lot of these things as well. And again, I just am sharing that from what I've seen happen tens of thousands of times in our private practice. So I would, if you have not read the Rain Barrel Effect yet, that's where you start. So the Rain Barrel Effect is as close to free as I can make it. We literally pay to print the book. We just charge shipping, and that's at stevencabral.com as well. You can pick it up on Facebook. You can pick it up on Amazon. So yeah, and that'll really go through all the different steps of, again, not how to get rid of fatty liver, but how to get your body healthy so that fatty liver can exist. Hopefully that's helpful. All right, Mally's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thank you so much for all you do. Your podcast and Equilife products have been such a blessing for me and my family. Thank you, Mally. I ran a stool and organic acids test through my functional medicine doctor, and I have completed 6-month bacterial and overgrowth protocol through him. I recently tested for incredibly high levels of Ochratoxin A and started on your mold protocol. His protocol called for some intense binders, so I did not feel comfortable taking those when my body is already herxing. I appreciate how your mold protocol has less side effects. My question is your protocol able to address mold that is colonized in the sinus and or organs? My chronic sinusitis started when I was a kid, and I wonder what the proper expectation should be as far as recovery time. I've seen decent amounts of biofilm in my stools for about 6 months now. Also, is there any blood work I should be monitoring while I'm detoxing so heavily? Okay. Happy to go through all this with you. So it's great that you are working with a doctor that you trust. That's always fantastic. My suggestions are, well, let's go through your questions. Okay, so you're doing the mold protocol from Equilife. Fantastic. The next part you're asking, well, that's internal based. So we can get to the internal stuff, which is great. That's what you want to do. But it's also helping with the immune system. Like that's a big part of the mold protocol that most people overlook. So yes, like we recommend the intestinal cleanse during it, binders and all that. Like it's great. There's no problem. But you have to understand is that the only way that you get rid of mold is that you rebalance your immune system. And if anybody's trying to tell you otherwise, I don't know why they'd be telling you that. But because what you're doing is you are eliminating waste products, which are things like the Ochratoxin A. Our job, though, is also, and yes, we do that, but we also look to boost your immune system to kill mold, to kill yeast, to kill fungus. Like that's the goal. Okay. So now for your nasal passages, we recommend a neti pot twice a day, once or twice a day. So you're going to get a neti pot. You're going to put in water. You're going to put in some saline solution. And then you're going to put in, again, I can't give you medical-based advice. What I do is I personally put in 2 to 3 drops of citricidal or citra-based drops or something like that. We just use citricidal. And then I just get a neti pot on one nostril, neti pot on the other, wash that out of the sinuses. I used to do that when I had really bad allergies and I had yeast overgrowth in my nasal passages. I had it all up my esophagus when I was in my 20s in my nasal passages. It was horrible. I had massive mold as well, but I only learned that much, much later because nobody was really doing a lot of mold testing back in the early 2000s, late 90s. So what can I tell you? That's what I would tell you. And then colloidal silver nasal spray can also be beneficial, or the Nasacort that I recommended before by Nutribiotics can be beneficial as well, once or twice a day maximum. You wouldn't do this forever. You might do it for 6 weeks or so, and that can give you the benefits of getting at your sinuses directly. All right? All right. I can't give you recommendations on blood work. That would be more what a medical doctor would do, except to say, hey, run your typical CBC, and you would run your blood chemistry analysis, lipid panel every year. All right. And then in order to find out if a mold is gone in, let's say, 4 or 8 weeks after doing the mold protocol, you need to do it for a while, and then you can retest. And I would also run that candida metabolic vitamins test, organic acids test, again, just to make sure the yeast and fungal overgrowth in the gut is gone as well. All right. Crystal's up next. Crystal says, hi, Dr. Cabral. Because of my PCOS, I now have chronic dry eye syndrome. I've listened to your podcast on dry eye that I could find, and nothing seems to help. The only thing that has seemed to help the constant burning are Restasis eye drops that my doctor prescribed me. The dry eye suddenly changed in 2020, February 2020. Nowhere, and ever since, my eyes have been really red, and a large visible red vein has formed in my right eye. My doctor told me it will never go away, but I just don't want to believe that. My eyes have always been the best feature, and I hate having red eyes all the time. What can I do to stop my dry eye? Sorry for my question so long. I appreciate taking the time. Thank you, Dr. Cabral. You are my biggest inspiration. Thank you, Crystal. Never listen to any doctor. Never listen to any doctor that tells you that's always going to be the way that it is. A doctor should not be in practice that says anything like that. It is the worst thing that you can do for a patient. It's called the nocebo effect, and it just speaks to their own ignorance. That's basically it. When I don't have the answer, I just say, I don't have the answer. When someone comes to me and say, hey, can this be fixed or not? I say, we're going to do our best. And I've seen pretty much everything else in the world be overcome. So why can't you overcome this as well? Like, that's the thing. The human body has the remarkable ability to heal. The problem is you still have PCOS, right? And so you have to check out my podcast on PCOS because PCOS can be overcome. It really can. And so if you can overcome PCOS, like you need to overcome the underlying root causes of the dry eye and the PCOS. Well, PCOS is testosterone, estrogen dominance, high cortisol, low thyroid, blood sugar issues, and not all of them, but it's one of those. So we need to fix that. When we fix that, the body starts to get healthier. We go through functional medicine detoxification-based protocols. We make sure the hormones are balanced. We make sure glucose is balanced. And then all of the inflammation in the body, which, by the way, this is inflammatory-based, starts to become a balanced, healthy level of inflammation. So that's really what we need to work on. Like, don't think about the dry eye specifically. Don't even think about the PCOS specifically. These are things that conventional medicine labels you with. I was labeled with Addison's disease, rheumatoid arthritis, type 2 diabetes, POT syndrome, mastocytosis, insomnia, allergies, eosinophilic rhinitis. Like, I could go on, right? Well, I don't have any of those anymore. Good thing I didn't believe in their diagnosis telling me that they would never go away, right? Good thing. All right, Michael's up next. Hi, doctor. And so, by the way, Crystal, you run the big five, or you at least run the stress hormones, mood, and metabolism test, and ideally the starter kit. Ideally those three if possible. All right, Michael's up next, and our last question of the day. Dr. Cabral, what would cause someone to burp omega-3 capsules? I've tried many functional medicine brands, but I keep burping them. I have low stomach acid, tested positive for H. pylori, and probably have SIBO as well. Thank you, Michael, for your question. And you know what? You answered your own question. Low stomach acid is the number one reason why people would burp up omega-3s. And you might say, well, you don't need stomach acid really to break down body fat. Well, you do. And the reason you do is because, one, is it needs to actually break down a gelatin capsule. So oil typically comes in a gelatin capsule, not a vegetable capsule. So 99% of our products come in a vegetable-based capsule. It's called hemicellulose. You probably saw it in the back. And cellulose means vegetable fibers. And but things like omega-3 or an oil have to be in gelatin, or if not, it would leak through a vegetable capsule. So you have to break down that vegetable capsule. That takes stomach acid. But also stomach acid helps prime, they call it priming the pump. So if you have stomach acid and it lowers the pH of the food that moves through your gastric valve in your stomach into the first part of your small intestine where it then mixes with bile. Well, if it's not low enough pH, then the bile does not need to flow as freely because bile neutralizes bile's high pH, and the stomach contents are low pH, right? If you have stomach acid. And that's how the body's supposed to work. So we need to work on your stomach acid. And most likely it's from H. pylori and other factors. So we need to fix the H. pylori. That's the first step. And then we need to rebuild the stomach acid. And then you probably won't have SIBO anymore because one of the reasons people have SIBO is low stomach acid because they're also not producing enough bile. Check out my podcasts on the digestion. They're completely free. Check out, if you know you have these things, check out, again, not providing any medical treatment plans whatsoever, but check out the CBO protocol with the citricidal drops with mastic gum. So you might want to just check that out, and then you'll work on rebalancing your gut. Then you'll strengthen your stomach acid, and then you'll be able to take omega-3s again. And I would start with a liquid omega-3 first. Super easy. You just need 1 teaspoon, that's it, of the daily omega-3 support. At least the Equilife brand is just 1 teaspoon, that's it. And then you don't even have to break down the capsules anymore. So hopefully this was helpful. Thank you, Michael, for writing in. Thank you, everyone, for your support of the show. 3 million downloads a month. Who would have thought when we first started out with 3,000 downloads a month, right? Many, many years ago. But pretty amazing. Again, I haven't changed whether it's 3,000 downloads a month, 3 million downloads a month. I'm just trying to do my part. Just like someone helped me many, many years ago. I'm just doing my best to pay it forward. And I thank you all so much. So take care. Have an amazing day. I'll see you tomorrow on our Mindset and Motivation Monday. Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to stevencabral.com/resources.